So I'm going to tell you a really funny story I just remembered from back when I was about 30 years old. I was in Oregon, and what I was doing to make a living in the wintertime was I had a 5-yard dump truck. I would buy gravel at the quarries, and I'd work the neighborhoods in the area, and I would solicit to fix driveways and parking spaces and stuff for people. And it was a pretty good model. It worked really well. Well, this one particular time, I rolled up this lady's driveway. It was really in bad shape. I talked to her about it, and she said, yes, my husband's a contractor. He's been wanting my road, or I've been trying to get him to fix this thing forever. And he says, I will, and he doesn't do it. And I said, well, look, for $100 a load, you need about 4 or 5. I don't remember now. It's like 30 years ago. But I said, I can fix your whole parking area so you don't track mud in the house and your whole driveway all the way to your mailbox. And she was like, do it. And I said, great. So I ran 4 or 5 loads out to her house and fixed it. She wrote me a check. She's happy. I went home. That night I got a phone call from her husband, and he goes, you ripped off my wife. He goes, I could have got a big belly dump truck in here and I could have got twice as much rock for that price. So I stopped payment on your check, and I'll send you a check for $90 or whatever he thought it was worth. And I said, that's not a good idea, dude. I said, first of all, your driveway is so tight, you can't get a bigger truck than mine in there. You needed a small truck to do that job, and I solved your problem. You should be happy. Your wife's really happy. Didn't matter. He stopped payment on the check. And the truth is, his driveway was probably 300 yards long, and it was cut through the trees, and it was low. So my truck was a single axle 5-yard dump truck. Barely could spread the rock myself. And he's comparing me to these big wholesale prices with a belly dump trailer or a huge 12-yard truck, dual axle, right? He couldn't get it done with that anyway. But point is, he stopped payment on my check. And I was like, huh, all right. So I went to my buddy at the quarry. I took the tailgate off my dump truck. We chained up a boulder as big as this bike lift with this bike on it. It was huge. We chained up this boulder, set it in the back of my truck. I went to his house the next day or the day after at like 5:30 in the morning, and I backed halfway up his driveway through all those trees, and I dropped that rock right in the middle of his driveway. And when I got home, my wife was like, some guy called about 6:30 this morning screaming at me and cussing at me. And I said, it worked. Point being, I didn't rip him off. And he was one of those guys who's gonna dictate to me what he's willing to pay me after the job's done, which he wasn't even part of the deal. His wife wanted that done. And so he got the rock for free. I didn't even cash the check he sent me. It was more satisfaction knowing that he woke up and could not leave his house until he had a bulldozer, a crane, or cut down a bunch of trees to get around that rock, because it was not gonna move. It was as big as his truck. Moral of the story, before you do somebody wrong, you might think about what they can do to get back at you, because some people don't take it lightly. And it was very hard to get that personality trait out of me, and I don't think it's all the way gone, but that was a really good story. I liked it. I forgot all about that, and I thought I would share that because everybody's been ripped off. It was like, man, I'd like to. Well, I did one time, and it was great.